We cheers to Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, happy
With our fruity
2026.
tea. First recording of 2026.
I know, rock and roll, baby.
Mm-hmm. It does not
First
get more
recording,
regular.
that's really special. Oh, we started already?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are.
I've hit the record
wicked.
button.
Hello everyone, welcome. It's very kind of, feels like at home on the sofa by the fire vibe.
It feels like that every time you're in here, though.
Sometimes.
It's getting you to leave, that's the issue. It's like, okay, you've ever stayed now. I'm joking.
No,
You're
we do like to have a little talk about all sorts of things. But on the way here, it was snowing, and we talked about that, didn't we? It was snowing. And I just felt to put out a little thing this morning on my socials about Fargo Village, doing my first podcast of the year. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about because... as we discussed before we come in, the Christmas period was interesting.
Yeah.
Very different. And I wanted to talk about that.
Well, let's start there, because obviously there was no plan for this. Obviously, I didn't know this was happening until yesterday. But obviously I love chatting to you. So let's start there then, because obviously Christmas can be an incredibly difficult time. Emotional, like there's a lot of stuff that comes to an end, obviously with the new year. There's a lot of pressure that comes with like the Christmas period to like show up, like overspend, give a lot than what you have sometimes got. How have you handled almost like the pressure that has come with Christmas? Because obviously before I think before we broke up for the Christmas period, you were very kind of like, no, this is the year of the snake, like I'm shedding, I'm letting go. Like, how did that feel over the Christmas period?
Emotional.
Yeah.
Very emotional. It was. I've had a few people say, "How was it?" I've gone, "Yeah, it was different." Just keeping it very, it was very different. I know for a lot of people every year it should be different. There should be variations. I missed how things used to be. I missed my parents deeply. I missed certain members of my family that I'm not connected with deeply. I was around different people in some areas, so it was new. Some things were new. I was very burnt out and depleted. I realised how much pot pouring I'd done and not enough going in, and I'm sort of always the one that's, well, it's my job, sort of do these practices and stuff like that. So I realised I had to crank up my meditation. I had to crank up a few things and just step out from life while I could. That was a good thing about Christmas. It gives you a bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was emotional. Yeah.
It's a very reflective time as well, isn't it? It's like
huge,
things coming to an end. It's loss as well. Like you mentioned, obviously, like your like parents. Obviously, I know the stories. Obviously, you have like your beautiful mom. Obviously, your dad, and like you mentioned before we hit the record button that you felt it more so this year than you did in 2024
yeah, it's
when
the second
we sadly
Christmas
passed
we've
away.
not had him, and I felt it more on this one gone because I think he's only been sort of gone 5 months when the first Christmas. It was different because I was very busy. There was a lot going on, and I really kind of jumped and submerged into doing a lot of positive things, creative endeavours.
Yeah.
I kept myself suitably preoccupied and busy, channeling my energy into things that I was passionate about and that I loved, and I don't regret that. But come mid last year, when I realised, do you know what? I'm changing. Something in me is shifting. This is what I want in life, and how am I going to get there? So I had to strip a lot of things back. I had to step into places of uncertainty and unknown. My work changed. My finances dropped because my energy and time had to go into creating and building other things like the writing. I was looking at my work, and so many things were not resonating. I felt like I'd outgrown a lot of things. I cried practically daily. I meditated, I breathed, I stretched. I was kind of sporadic with the gym, but I knew it was important to maintain a certain level, even at a bare basic. Opening my eyes first thing in the morning, and when I was feeling, I just went, breathe. breathe, put my hand straight on my heart and just said, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was almost like an instant route. You've got this, keep going. You know, choose your voice where you want to wake up to.
Where does that come from though? Because obviously we're talking about this like in an element of obviously like great loss and like almost like pain. And I think a lot, obviously it's inevitable. It happens to us all, like whether you like it or not, it comes for us all. Loss and pain. Where does that kind of like determination and fire like come from? Because it's not easy. Obviously, you know, we're sat in a product of going through that pain and loss and that like ability to like, this isn't it. Like there's more to give. Where does yours come from? Like the drive of all of that?
Gosh, really, really good question, that. I know you understand this because, you know, of your story and your journey yourself, and you're still navigating. Where does it come from? Probably the darkest point in my life where I didn't like who I was. I was very reactive. I was carrying a lot of rage. I wasn't being kind to myself. I wasn't looking after my body very well. I was around, not everyone, because I've always had quite variation of social circles anyway, but friendships that weren't great. And yeah, I think the suicide of my mum was a huge catalyst, but it didn't happen straight away.
Yeah.
But I just remember sitting there at one point and thinking I could never. I mean, I just felt like I wasn't. You know, I felt like I was a failure in life. I was still living in, you know, a place that I'd been, you know, for quite a long time. Everything just always felt like a struggle. Relationships were hard work. It was yo-yoing, like my weight, like my appetite, like my sleep patterns. Everything was yo-yoing. My, you know, everything was affected. My body was really affected in a lot of ways, you know. And my girls got to see a lot of that. But there was one thing. It was just always a voice that said, "Keep going. Rise out of bed in the morning. Just keep going."
Yeah. Who said that?
Yeah, who said that? You know, it's like, keep going, keep going. And a promise I made to myself, you know, because I remember just locking everything in. I had quite a lot of stuff I was always carrying way before then that stemmed from my early childhood. And I'm certainly not in a blame game here. I'm in an understanding place.
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect for my parents. They got a lot wrong. I got a lot wrong. I see around me in the family, I see in people, I get it. I see people regurgitating patterns, mindsets, behaviours. And something in me said, I promise I will not take my own life. I will not do to my children what I've, you know, how I was felt, how I was feeling, because it was so gut-wrenching. It was like you could actually feel it, you know. I remember when I screamed when I went round my dad's house. I've written about this, but when I went round, my dad sat down and he spoke the words, and this scream left my body, and then I sucked it in, and then I just turned and walked into Mum's kitchen and started bleaching the walls.
Oh, wow.
And I was stuck for quite some time. There's a lot of the couple of years after that I can't really remember much of.
Yeah.
It's like in and out, in and out.
You're an autopilot.
Oh,
it's literally you just get up and go.
Yeah, very much so. But I'd be present, then I'd be somewhere else, and then like there'd be piles of letters. 6 months later, I'm like, where's all these letters going? Bills, you know, final demands. I'm like, why have I not been paying things? What have I been doing?
Yeah.
You know, not sleeping all night. My kids would have to get up in the morning, get themselves, luckily the school was across the road, getting themselves ready for school. I was very, they were the darkest times of my life, but I did make a whisper of a promise, just keep going, keep going. So that's all stayed
like
with me.
The rock bottom then. It was almost like that, the loss, that was like almost like the catalyst of like, and the
Everything.
promise to yourself, obviously your family, to be like, that's not me, that's not my journey. And I think deep down, I don't know, obviously I don't know about all that kind of stuff, like you're far more into it than I am, but like I think like your calling was far greater, and it was something like as devastating as that, that has really kind of almost like springboarded this new life that you are creating for yourself. Obviously I see in here like almost daily, and speak from personal experience, like when you are at that point of like, I cannot believe this is happening to me, like this is my life, and then being at a point of being like, well, I don't want this. And like I talk about my own journey quite candidly, but it's not a case of like you wanted to die. It's just like you just didn't want to continue living the way life was being lived at that time. And I think it's a very important question to ask yourself, anyone who might be in that kind of headspace of like, I can't do this. Just remind yourself of like, there is a years and years of experience to prove that you can do it. It's fucking tough. Like we're both sat here kind of versions of ourselves, like almost better versions of ourselves because of
I'd
the
definitely
pain.
say so, 100%. But
So
it's
it's
not
a
been an
reminder.
easy.
Absolutely
It's
not.
not been an easy ride.
No.
And for a lot of people, you know, I have clients, friends, you know, people. It's not an easy ride for them either.
Yeah.
But it is important. I think it's so important. You know, we've all got light within us. It's to access your inner strength, and you know, your inner guidance, your voice. It's all there. We all have that ability.
Where does the spirituality part come in? Have you always been like a
Yeah,
spiritual person?
yeah.
Okay.
Even when I was a little girl, my mum was saying you were speaking to the lady,
Yeah.
or you were speaking to the. You know, I've always had it. I did go through a phase of my life where I was actually doing readings,
Yeah.
but I got so nervous. I would sit there and be like, "How do I switch this on?"
Yeah.
I was overthinking it, and I just can't do the stress
Yeah.
of it. But when it just happened,
Yeah.
and then next thing, you know, I'm there, and I loved it, and I can still do it. And when I'm working on people, I do a lot of hands-on work with people's bodies. Again, my work has shifted and changed and elevated in lots of ways. Spirit will step in. You know, some clients will tell you, I've been working on them. It's like, oh, hang on, you know, this lady's coming in. I can. It's like a vision in my head.
Yeah.
You know, like a movie screen that comes
Yeah.
up, and then you see something, and that's exactly how it is. But I wouldn't advertise myself or say
Yeah.
I'm a medium,
you
or I'm a
don't
this, I'm
have
that. I
to,
just
though.
I always
Yeah.
thought everyone
Yeah.
had it. Well, we do to a certain degree. I think if you sit and develop it
Yeah.
and trust it, and like with anything, practice.
Yeah.
There's ways to developing these abilities. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And I've been able to sit with it a few times and go within and call in like my guides or ancestors or spirit of, and they always whisper back, and I've asked questions, and it's always come true.
Yeah.
Right, if that makes sense.
You mentioned a word there that is one of the things that I think is quite, especially this time of year. It's January. There's a lot of kind of trust that is needed in like, you know, your own ability to, whether it's a New Year's like resolution, intention, like whatever it is. Do you trust easily? Obviously you trust, by the sounds of it, like obviously like the spirit guides, and obviously there must be an element of like you trust yourself to kind of get up and like stick to your plan.
Yes. That's been earned, that's been forged,
Okay.
that's been cultivated.
Is that with others,
because
or
I
is that
never
with
used
you?
to trust I always used to feel, sorry, say that again, sorry.
Is that with others or with, sorry, I just
With
cut you
others.
over.
For me, trust with others, I think trust has to be earned.
Yeah.
It's something that is a foundation in life that is really important. Without trust for anyone or yourself, you've got a very weak foundation. Foundations for me are certain things, but trust is huge. It's really important that you ask that. Trust for me, learn to trust myself. There was years ago where I wasn't trustworthy to even myself.
Okay.
Because I was saying one thing, but my actions and words didn't align often.
Yeah.
You know, I think I felt that people didn't really like me. I wasn't really understood. No one wanted to hear what I had to say. So I became this kind of bigger, larger than life. I will make you feel good. And I will, what was all that about? Really interesting. Mask, costumes, different hats for different people, chameleon,
Yeah.
becoming something that you think people want to you to be, mixed in with elements of who I am. Does that make sense? So, but trusting other people. I feel that I observe a lot, and energy don't lie. Energy just doesn't lie. And what I've learned is, and this is a superpower, is when you can look at someone in the eyes and they can give you eye contact, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Energy don't lie. So if the words that are coming out their mouth doesn't match the frequency they're giving me, it's not about me. I take nothing personal.
Yeah.
They're lying to themselves. So I'm very much about, Sarah, are you being authentic? Are you lying to yourself here? I check in with myself a lot. I'll review what you said today and what did they align? Do they match? Are you doing the things you say you are doing? Are you doing the things you want to be doing? Are you building what you want to build? Are you pouring in enough light and energy and rest and recuperation and loving to yourself? The first voice that comes up.
That was your answer.
I did it the other day and it's so funny. Highly recommend doing this. I've got this tree that I visit fairly often.
Okay.
Right. That tree has had everything.
I'd like to now say sorry to the National Trust.
Even the dogs, like we go, and they just naturally go there now. They just sit, they wait. But I have been against that tree. I have prayed against that tree. I have spoke to that tree. I have sobbed my literal. I think just for Christmas I was there. I just didn't even say anything. I just walked up to it, put my arms around it, and sobbed. Absolutely sobbed into it. But it's a sacred safe space, and I think it's important that everyone creates some sort of sacred safe space to release, to talk out, to say. Because every time I walk away from it, I feel rerouted. I feel lit up with light.
Sorry, I love a pun. The fact that you said rerouted after leaving a tree.
Literally.
Sorry.
And I got leaves growing off me.
That was like a really beautiful moment. I couldn't help myself.
And my hair's like twigs, what it is, Leo. But yeah, it's stuff like that. So with this tree, I mean, they're incredible, like things, aren't they? These trees are like a conscious energy, information. Well,
they've been here a long time. They were here way before us. They're going to be here
these
way
trees are older
after.
than me.
Yeah.
It's like I got there, it goes there. Come here. I've seen this many times. But if you stand barefoot next to a tree, it's like, and breathe and hold it, you are coming away like cranked up. It's like your mind goes.
Yeah. Was there a point with all of this? Like, with obviously you mentioned like the mask and kind of like the trust and kind of like shedding, all that kind of stuff. Like, was there a turning point where you started to ask yourself that question? Like, was there an event, or because obviously you've mentioned about like, like you were people pleasing, like I'm going to make you feel good, even if it's like to your own detriment. And I know there's still probably moments where that creeps in and like, it's a hard thing to kind of let go of, people
100%.
pleasing.
Yeah.
But was there like a turning point or like an event where you were like, I'm not doing this anymore, like this mask is coming off?
Oh, gosh. Really good question. There has been many points.
Yeah.
It's never, for me, and maybe for some other people it is that way, but for me it was never, right, that's it. Ta-da!
Yeah.
It was peeling, layer. Very gently, I nurtured myself to, with a lot of reassurance, first I was seeking reassurance. Am I doing this right? Is this okay? Mentors, courses, teachers, pioneers. It's like I'm always searching. Am I getting this right? Is there a right or wrong? What is being spiritually naked or unmasked or authentic? Well, that's something you have to go within to discover who you really truly are. You know, thoughts, opinions, habits, everything just needs attention one bit at a time. So it is an evolution over years. It's brought me to this point. I did it again recently. I just said, something else has got to go now. Something else has got to go. You want different, Sarah? Well, then we know that we manifest our reality. You know, a lot of the problems we create from ourselves.
Yeah, know that.
You know, we choose to do a lot of things. Okay, we can't control what goes on with other people, what they say and do and think and feel. We can influence. We can help or hinder. But mainly, everything comes back to the self. Everything comes back to the self. So going back again to trust, trusting and surrendering and having faith are huge key factors for transformation growth and finding really truly who you are. You know, trusting that you're going to wake up in the morning and do what's right for you because you know it makes you feel lighter, brighter, strength, clarity. You know, trusting that you're going to make choices and decisions that are right for you. And if you can't trust those and you're not doing it, then you're not going to be able to shed and get rid of what isn't serving. You know, like the animal kingdom, the lizards, the snakes, even eagles, you know, they all shed. I mean, they shed fur, they all shed claws, they shed beaks, they shed skin, they shed. You know, so do we. We're also seasonal. Just need to get that in because my partner said, talk about the seasons.
To be fair, it was going to be one of the things that like was kind of leading me onto this, like about like the change, like the shedding and all this kind of stuff, and like especially like letting go of things. Obviously, the more you kind of let go of that doesn't serve you, the more you can let in. Like, and it might not be like for the long term, but like it's okay to let that go as well when the time is right. But obviously, one of the most natural things to occur when it comes to change is the seasons. Obviously, we're recording this like on the 6th of January. It's currently snowing outside. It was one of the first things that we said, like when I obviously opened the door to you this morning. But you said you had a connection to snow. What is that?
Oh, okay. So the connection with snow is a little bit of a juxta. It's a bit sweet. There's a massive love for snow. So my earliest memory, I've written about this as well. My earliest memory was when I was in infant school.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I was a tiny little wee thing. Was the teacher put on a record on the record player, and it was the seasons. And right, we're going to do a performance play. And I was like, I'm going to, you know.
Time to shine, baby.
Oh, my gosh. And she says, 4 groups, autumn, winter, summer, spring, you know, sort of thing. And I was put in winter.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in there with the snowflakes. I was the only freaking snowflake, I'm telling you now. I embodied being a snowflake. The music, it was the first time I realised how much I love music and dance. And the teacher said to me, Sarah, you know, I remember this very vividly. Do you go ballet lessons? And I said, no. She said, well, you should. And it was just something that was always stayed with me.
Why would I pay to learn?
Yeah, I was like,
Dad,
my mum always said, I'm not sending you to dance school. They'll just make you in like a robot like everyone else. And I was like, I desperately wanted to go. I desperately wanted to wear those shoes. And, you know, I actually did get some ballet shoes years and years later, you know, and I put them on and I could do it, you know. My grandma took me to the ballet. Anyway, there's so many things. But I remember sitting waiting with this hat on. We all had to create these hats. It was glitter snow on it and glitters on my skin. And, you know, you're like this. And all the parents there, and I'm looking, and I can't see my mum anywhere. And I'm like waiting. And all I wanted was her to see me.
Yeah.
And she come in late and bedraggled, bless her, you know, the beautiful curly auburn hair and a big long eyelashes, and she come in wearing her brown rabbit fur coat, which she felt an absolute,
superstar.
Yeah, and she comes in and she's, excuse me, and she sat there and then she went, and I was like, I'm alive. And I freaking twirled, I was, anyway, so that's a beautiful memory and that's always stayed with me. So when I hear that music, it's like the movement, it's, for me, that was the first time I felt freedom. I felt freedom within. I felt seen. I felt free. And suddenly my world felt very different because at home, my world was very different.
Yeah.
My mum, I was born in 1974. My mum was in a refuge for young mums. She was only 19. You can imagine how that was back then. And my biological father, not my dad, my biological father, who I have, no qualms with at all. I wish him well because he's a very different man now. He was only 17.
Yeah.
Scotland had a lot of his own childhood trauma. Anyway, cut long story short, he was very violent and aggressive, and when he drank alcohol, it was like Jekyll and Hyde. And obviously, I witnessed. My mum had the stuff that I hadn't witnessed was bad enough, but the stuff I did get to witness was quite traumatic. And there was one occasion, very vivid, and my cousin was with me, and we woke up in the morning, and my dad had come up, and it was blanket of white snow outside. Yeah. My dad had rolled home 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and my mum had got up, and we were all in her bed. I think we were just trying to keep warm. And she said, "Don't move." And she got up, and before she even got to the bedroom door, he was in. Yeah. And there was screaming. He was pulling her down the stairs, bump, 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 and I got up, ran after her, and I just felt this cold come down the stairway. I ran into the lounge, nothing there, and I could hear all this screaming and scuffling. And as I swung around and went into the back room, which was the front room, the door was wide open, and there was him beating mum. Yeah. I won't go into detail, but there was blood everywhere, and the neighbour was shouting. And I remember just freezing, and that thing again. Yeah, that happened. So that memory stayed with me, and that was where a lot of my anxiety and fear, my voice locked. I wasn't able to express. There was other things going on at the time as well around me. That I just couldn't speak about. Everything stayed locked in. So everything was in the body for a very long time. So when I danced and when I sang, well, actually, I didn't sing for a long time. Funnily, I wanted to sing, but I couldn't. When I danced, when I went into my imagination, I'd write my stories and I'd be characters. It was freedom for me. Yeah. Hence why I got so pulled into performing at school and then performing arts and on all the...
It's escapism as well.
It was not just escapism. Yeah. It was freedom.
Would you say that was like the truest version of you when you are... I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but I kind of want to hear you say it. But like when you're on that stage, you're singing, you're dancing, you're free, that's the truest and purest version of you.
I would say so, yes, because from where it derived from. Yeah. And I think anything that your child self loved is your truest self. This is why I feel it's important, and this is what I do now, and creating a big body of works, is not just through storytelling of things that happened, but other things come in as well. I've got scripts and stories, and I'm working on a TV thing. It's just all, it pours in when you open yourself up, and there's ways of doing that. Expression, dropping into your heart, having love and value and kindness for who you are. It takes practice. It doesn't just come easy. People probably say, I've known Sophie for years and she's always been this way. Yeah, and that's fine. That's a version of me. Yeah. And yes, we all can be this way. But I can also be that way and this way and that way, like we all can. Yeah. There's parts of me I kept very hidden away because I just thought it was too ugly for people to see and understand. But also, you have to be careful with who you choose to be vulnerable with. Now I'm in a place where it doesn't, that judgment or fear of judgment of what other people think and feel, it's not a thing for me.
Yeah.
What for me is most important, and what I've learned and what I witness and what I understand from myself is people just want to be understood. People need connection. They need love. And for themselves, for the self, the relationship with the self is so important. It's key. And it's so important that we have people that will help God be like a lantern in the dark, a lighthouse when they're in the choppy waters of life. Just say, it's okay. There's no judgment here.
Yeah. You're
This way, you can do it. It's all there inside you. You just got to shed, release, let go.
Yeah.
You know, but do we let go? But it's just getting to a place of more understanding and peace. To be able to get there. So yeah, creativity, I think it's really important. I think kids in schools, there does need to be a reform. And even for adults, it should be just pour it into your life as much as you can. You know, there's so many expressions of creativity. It's so wide and there's room for everyone's creativity and expression and truth and voice. No, absolutely. Comparison is a killer. I've experienced that. I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. I'm not as good as they are. I'm not doing it this way. And it's like, oh God.
They're not you. They're probably looking at you saying exactly the same thing.
Isn't it?
But before we dive into that, I just want to say thank you for that, because that kind of been easy to kind of obviously witness, but also to talk about. And especially like on days like today, like the fact that you've got almost like the darkest of memories, but then you've also got almost like the seed where like the love of music, creativity, dance, your voice, like being seen started. Which again, I think it's just an absolute testament. And I think for everyone who's kind of like watching this, like, yes, you can see things, that you can hear things, you can feel things that could, and have the ability to kind of completely rip you to shreds. But also there is that ability to, I don't want to say dance through it, sing through it, write through it,
navigate all those things that you love. It's
in
love.
a way, like there is not one person on this planet that can say it's the wrong thing to do if it gets you through some of your darkest days.
And everyone's got the things that they love, and you know, and thank you for that, Taylor. And I know, like, I'm requesting you, could you kind of come and sit and hold space and talk to me? And a part of me actually was like, what am I going to talk about? What have I got to say?
Yeah.
What you know, trust Sarah, have faith, surrender. It's all going to come through.
But I also don't think you realise how inspiring that is, because it's the only reason I stopped doing what I do and what I love this year is because I was like, I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to do. I don't know if it has any value. So again, it's genuinely inspiring. Like, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to do this, because it is an honour. Like, I wouldn't be at this point if I didn't go through, you know, not the same things that you went through, but like on a very similar traumatic level. And I can relate to a hell of a lot of your journey with that kind of stuff. So to be in a position where like, no, I want you to do that is so inspiring. Like, we're just two normal people who went through shit.
Well, everyone
exactly.
Everyone is, whether you're an A-lister or, you know, you sort of working in the shop. We are all human beings just navigating through life and everything that it's throwing at us, or the experiences that we're going through. And like you said earlier, and rightly so, none of us are going to escape certain things. But there are ways to get through things. You know, you just got to connect with yourself. Really take time to really get to know who you are and what you want. Really,
for someone who's watching this, who, you know, they might have just stumbled across this by accident, like on YouTube, and they might be thinking like, what are they talking about? Like, what like connection to yourself, this, that, and the other. Like, but they've always had that interest to like, okay, I've seen this kind of stuff. Where do I begin? Like, what advice would you give someone who just wants to I guess, either dip the toe or throw themselves in. You know, it's a new year. It's the year of the fire horse.
It
Like, there's a
is.
lot of kind of power, change, like force this year.
Mm.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start that journey, whether it's spirituality, finding themselves?
Oh, wow. Well, it's already there. We're all spiritual beings. Everyone is. Finding yourself. You're already there. Everything is already within you. We just need to learn how to unpack things that no longer serve us.
Yeah.
It's like carrying a backpack, isn't it? You know the story of the traveller, and he's with the monk, and he's carrying, and he's, gets so far, and he's like, I can't do it. He said, you can. Anyway, basically, long story short, he opens his backpack, and he's just got all these heavy boulders, and everything's got things written on them. They're just stuff
Labels.
from the past, Okay, so you've got to work out what you're still carrying around. Okay, so, oh, God, that's a really good one. It's so intricate as well, because it just opens up like a tree branches. I would say start with taking time, focusing on a little bit of discipline to take yourself out, meditate, close your eyes and breathe. Just close your eyes and breathe, even if it's for 10 minutes. Each morning, each night before bed, each morning when you wake up. Start there. Just start very basic and simple. Everything grows and expands anyway, but incorporating practices, look at things like your diet, are you getting enough sleep, hydrating, basics. Explore, listen to inspirational motivators, listen to wisdoms. There's wisdom and nuggets and guidance in so many places. It's never just one
Pieces
thing.
of gold, do you think?
Pieces of gold, yes, pieces of gold. For me, it was like I started by spiritual development. I went to someone and sat each week for a few years and learned different things. Meditation, and my brain was like, blah, 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 learning to hold space for yourself and observe your thoughts. That's a skill.
Yeah.
That's a skill in itself. Move your body. I could fire so many things out, but it's true. You just got to start building an itinerary of practices and new habits.
Yeah.
Creating a new mindset. Because if you're going around always depressed all the time and telling your inner voice is saying, not good enough, not worthy, you're not lovable, you're not beautiful, you're not this, you're not,
Yeah.
We've all had them,
Well, the best
that
way
needs
to
addressing.
look at that kind of stuff now, like someone, I can't even remember what I was watching or listening to. Obviously, I think the analogy of a plant has been used like a lot, whereas obviously there's a lot of talk with like algorithms and AI and all this kind of stuff, but it's like if you're constantly feeding an algorithm like bad, negative, that algorithm is only going to show you bad and negative.
Yeah, and that's the
or
only
similar
reality.
things.
You're gonna
Flip it on its head.
Yeah, you're gonna think that's the world that we live
Yeah.
in, and it's not. Everybody's reality is very, very varied and different. I know people that they're just addicted to watching a lot of violent and horrific movies. They draw upon that. It gives them something. For me, that's like I couldn't be any further away from that. It's no right or wrong. They're getting their energy feed off that, but is their mind, has it got peace? Are they able to make decisions that are coming from here? When you're feeding something like violence, if you're ingesting violence through your eyes, that's what you are becoming. Your energy fit again.
Yeah.
Energy. Choose who you want to be. Think about what's the best version. What version of you? What do you look like? What do you feel like? What do you speak like? What do you think like? What are you doing? Where are you putting your time and energy and attention? Who are you around? What are you feeding? What are you cultivating? There's so many. It's never just start here.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror. There we go. Start there. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I like the person staring back at me? Would I go to this person for advice? Would I go to this person for shelter, sanctuary? Do I feel safe with this person? Step out yourself. Have a good look. Ask yourself some honest questions, you know, and then go from there. You'll be really surprised what comes in, you know, and just know this, you're always going to be having to converse with aspects of the old self because it's never entirely eliminated. Like the other day, I was like, my partner was like, you're an angry little imp today. And I was like, I know. It's like you're feeling frustrated about something. Yes. What is it? I don't know. I'm going to go and sit and meditate on that. And actually, when I peeled it back, I had a really good cry. I was like, God, there was something a lot deeper there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And it was coming through. It was frustration and a bit of anger. A little bit of, just leave me alone. It's like, well, what is it? Sit with it. You know you're in a good relationship when you kind of mirror each other in a fashion where it's helping each other to grow and understand the self. Yeah. When you can sit with real, raw, honest questions, but know that they're not going to judge you and they still love you for it. Which is an interesting experience. Yeah. I've been on the floor, sobbing my eyes out, snot pouring out my nose, and then he's just gone, Sarah, you know, you are so beautiful. And I'm like,
it's not helping.
But that is it. And I love that. And I feel that way about other people when they just open up and it comes out. I just see such beauty. And I fall in love with that soul.
Yeah.
Because I recognise, I get it, you know. But I also fall in love with people's laugh. I also fall in love with people's, Yeah.
I've got one final, because I could sit in here all day, but I've just realised how cold it is in here. But I do have one final question for you. Obviously, it's the year of the horse, like the fire horse. So there's a lot going on this year in terms of like power stepping into your like truer form and just really going for it. Obviously, I know there's the books, there's so much going on with you, but like, is there anything that you can say or tell us that is coming up this year? Obviously, don't give it all away because obviously you've got to keep them coming back for more. But like, what does 2026 look like for you?
Well, I know what I'm working on, the things I'm working on. I am in a place very much of still building. There's still sacrifices going on. There's still time and energy. I've had to learn a lot of patience. What is coming up? Oh, gosh.
That would have been the perfect place to drop in a cliffhanger then, to look at the camera and just be like, you'll have to wait.
You will. I think you will have to wait. Yeah, I think in 6 months when we revisit, there'll be definitely. But there's some incredible, wonderful shifts and changes coming in with the work that I'm offering. I've been working extensively on part of me is like, really? You want to... It is a coaching program, but it's not a coaching program.
Yeah.
Connection program.
Okay.
For anyone who really does genuinely is ready to make some big changes within, you know, and do all the things that is required of them to get from that place to that place within like sort of like 12 weeks. Guarantee it will. Yeah, if you want to do it, go for it.
There's the fire.
You know what I mean? Transformation boot camp, come on. But I've created a team.
Yeah.
I've created a team. So it's not just me you get. You'll get a lot of me, but I've also got some incredible other facility. There's more in the pot. So if you're interested in that, and it is bespoke as well, it is created for that person, what's right for that person, because one shoe doesn't fit all, as we know. And depending on lifestyle, time, this, da, 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 da. But yeah, that's something I've been very. It's been a lot. It's been huge to create. I'm excited to do that. But yeah, the book.
I was going to say, you're going to have to talk about the book.
The book. So it comes out summer.
Yeah.
Start Over series. Created by Sir Marco Robinson, who's been a wonderful. He's a great ball of energy.
Yeah.
He is. He's been. I mean, he knows his stuff. But he's been a really good kind of business coach, because business-wise, I was pretty crap. I just give it away for free. But he's helped with a lot of structure and a lot of unpicking and unpacking sort of things. But he created this. Book 8 has just come out.
Yeah.
I'm in book 14.
Okay.
I am so excited because it's so dear to my heart. And it's a co-author project, so it's people's true stories from all around the world.
Wow.
And a part of that is I've been able to connect with people. But yeah, that's really exciting. So if you really like true stories, I know I love true stories. They've really kind of helped me along.
That's where the pieces of gold are.
It is, really, truly is. And it is called Pieces of Gold, as you know. For me, it's like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Because the writing side of things is something I really love and passionate about. But if you love inspirational true stories about how people have gone through whatever that is, they're all different, and to where they've got to be now at this point and where they're going or what they offer, then collect the book series.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. They're on Amazon.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they're number one. Apparently they're all doing like number one bestsellers.
We'll whack a link
It's like
in the
madness.
in the show notes. So obviously, if you want to check it out, head to the show notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Go and check them out if you're interested in that. If you want to start doing a bit more reading, pot pouring, I think that's it for now. But Taylor, thank you so much. You are absolute ball of light, and I do appreciate it.
Anytime, you know that. I love chatting to you.
I hope everyone else has enjoyed it today.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy 2026. May the force be with you.